The Puck Portfolio with Andy MacNeil.
Hey, welcome to the Puck Portfolio. I'm your host, Andy MacNeil. I'm here on weekdays to provide NHL projections, betting advice, and picks to help you make informed bets throughout the NHL season. This show is sponsored by NorthStar Bets. You can check them out via the link in the description below. They offer lots of great hockey markets, but they also offer odds on the next day's NHL games, one of the first sports books to do so. So you can check them out via the link in the description below. We're going to be talking about Tuesday's odds a little later on the show. Today's show won't be a long one. Of course, it's a little bit later in the day than it usually is when we get going here on YouTube. So it's going to be all business today. We're going to run through the games and dish out some picks. But first, we'll get into the schedule breakdown. Of course, lots going on in the NHL over the next couple of days. 6 games on tap for Monday, 9 more on Tuesday. So 15 games in total. And 6 of the teams that are in action on Monday will be in action again on Tuesday, including the Columbus Blue Jackets, who are playing a brutal stretch of hockey right now. Going to talk about that right away here. But yeah, if you've never been here before, you might be a little bit confused, but the rest column tells you how many days rest the team has had heading into a game. And the load column gives you a little bit more context, tells you whether a team is playing 2 games in 2 nights, 3 games in 4 nights, 4 games in 6, 5 and 7, or 6 and 9. So I have already included that in my handicap for Mondays and Tuesdays game. So not going to spend a whole lot of time on here, but you can pause the video, take a screenshot if you would like. But we will move on to Monday, March 4th. We've got, like I said, 6 games on tap. And yeah, Vegas looking for a bounce back against the Columbus Blue Jackets, who are playing their 4th game in 6 nights. They're playing their 5th game in 7 nights against the Penguins on Tuesday. And then on Thursday, they'll be playing their 6th game in 9 nights against the Edmonton Oilers. So really tough stretch of hockey for this Columbus Blue Jackets team. Jack Eichel, Vegas forward, last played on January 11th, but he'll be a game time decision ahead of Monday's game. So could be a big boost for the Vegas Golden Knights, who have lost 7 of their last 9 games and are coming off a big blowout loss to the Buffalo Sabres by a score of 7-2. So yeah, Vegas looking to get back on track, but that price a little bit too rich for my blood here on Monday. Same goes for the Flyers. They're not going to have Travis Konechny. There was some hope that he would be back in the lineup, but I mean, he's been Philly's best player this season, scored 27 goals and 54 points in 57 games. And that's on top of killing penalties. He's been, 3rd on the team in time on the kill this season. He's also leading the league, tied for the league lead with 5 shorthanded goals. He's missed the last 5 games. Big loss for the Flyers. They've been doing all right without him, going 2-3, but I'm not willing to lay the price here without Konechny in the lineup. The Bruins are in Toronto, the first half of a back-to-back for Boston, who will be back in Boston on Tuesday to take on the Oilers. Pavel Zacha left Saturday's game versus the Islanders in the second or before the second period, did not return, and his status is unclear heading into Monday's game against the Maple Leafs. He's going to be a game-time decision. Same goes for Matt Grzelcyk, who has been dealing with a minor injury, and Hampus Lindholm, who is skating but hasn't played since February 19th. I think the odds are more or less right on this game, but I do like the total in the Rangers and the Panthers. I mean, this is only the 3rd time this season the Rangers have been a home underdog. New York closed even money against Boston on November 25th. They beat the Bruins 7-4. They also closed plus 103 against Colorado a month ago on February 5th and beat the Avalanche 2-1 in overtime. Like I said, I like over 5.5 goals here. The Rangers, they've been getting great goaltending. Igor Shesterkin has a 948 save percentage in the month of February and to start the month of March, I guess. But he had to save the team over 12 goals above expected during that stretch because they've been so brutal defensively. The Rangers ranked 31st in expected goals against at 5-on-5 in February and 26th in all situations. So still pretty bad, just outside the top 10. Florida's got great defense, obviously, great goaltending. But I think the market clearly overrates and overvalues great goaltending and great defense when it comes to the game totals. And since December 1st, there have been 60 games with a total of 5.5, and they have gone over at a 60% clip. So I like over 5.5 at minus 122, locking that in to win a half unit. Elsewhere, Justice Anna Noonan is expected to start in goal for the Avalanche. They will host Connor Bedard and the Chicago Blackhawks on Monday. Colorado shut out the Blackhawks 5-0 in Chicago last week. So Maybe Bedard and Co will get some revenge, but probably not because they are huge underdogs. Anyway, moving on to Tuesday, March 5th. There are 9 more games on the schedule. And guys, I'm pretty pissed off because man, some of the best bets that I had moved here before we got recording on this show. And as Jake, my producer, can attest to, I just about threw my computer across the room before we went live. But I brought myself down. I'm back, centered with reality. Nothing I could do. It's out of my control. Anyways, Florida Panthers. They're going to be playing again on Tuesday. Hoping they go over the total in the Rangers game, over 5.5. But I'm just hoping they beat the Devils on Tuesday because that's something they've done in 10 out of their last 11 meetings with the Devils. I didn't know that until I was on Green Dot Daily on the Action Network today. And Marina, the host there, relayed that to me after I said that I like the Panthers to beat the Devils on Tuesday. So, yeah, I like them a little bit more now because they have dominated this matchup. And Anthony Stolarz is probably going to get the start against New Jersey, but I still think that means the Panthers have an edge in goal here. New Jersey ranks 27th in goals against per 60 minutes this season, and Stolarz has been solid. He's posted a 924 save percentage on the season, and New Jersey's offense has been pretty inconsistent recently. They've scored 2 or fewer goals in 6 out of the 12 games since Jack Hughes returned from injury, and Florida has managed to score more than 3.6 goals per 60 minutes during their last 12 game stretch. Florida is 3-1 as the road team in the second half of a back-to-back this season, while the Devils are 4-3 as the home team when playing a road team who played the night before, but not really that impressive when you consider the odds. The Devils have mostly been huge favorites in this spot with average odds of around 67%. So not a usual spot for the Devils. This is going to be a little bit different for them playing a really good team like the Panthers, even though the Panthers will be tired. And like I said, Florida's won 10 out of their last 11 meetings with the Devils. I think minus 118, the current odds at NorthStar Bets, is a reasonable price. And yeah, I'm going to lock that in to win 1 unit on Tuesday. Now, moving on to the other 2 bets that I had locked in, but no longer can recommend because the odds have moved. So first up, we've had the Edmonton Oilers. They're taking on the Boston Bruins. Of course, the Bruins going to be tired after playing the Maple Leafs. And Boston is not playing like an elite team right now. The Bruins ranked 23rd and 26th in expected goals and shot attempts, respectively, over the last 30 days, and only 3 teams have scored fewer goals per 60 minutes. I know they put up 6 goals on the Oilers in an overtime win recently, but the Oilers, they have been really good on the road this season, and the market is giving the Bruins a little bit too much respect, or it was giving the Bruins a little bit too much respect given what we've seen out of them as late. They've been pretty poor offensively, so only 3 teams, like I said, have scored fewer goals than the Bruins per 60 minutes over the last 30 days. Now, this one opened up at even money at North Star Bets. Obviously, I liked it a lot there. It moved to minus 109. Still liked it quite a bit there. And then it moved to minus 118, which is roughly exactly where I think it should be. So, as I was saying to Jake before we hit record on this episode, I just in the span of a half an hour, I've gone from the point where I would have looked really smart getting down on a great price and getting ahead of that big line move to the point where now I just look like I'm a guy copying the sportsbook's odds. And that's kind of frustrating because it isn't the case. I made a great number and just wasn't able to capitalize on it due to some scheduling conflicts. But one more game I want to talk about, even though it has moved a bit, I would not chase the steam here. There was a really good opportunity to get down on the Winnipeg Jets. And I mean, if this ever happens again, you can see some other instances in the marketplace where you can kind of gauge where things might be going, because some other sports books opened up with the Jets as a minus 175, minus 180 favorite. North Star Bets was down at minus 149, but they quickly moved when they realized they were so far off market. Now they're up in the minus 172 range. Winnipeg, they ranked 7th in 5-on-5 expected goals share and 2nd in goal share in the month of January, but the Jets placed 18th and 19th in those categories since the start of February. They still managed to go 9-4 straight up in 13 games, though. The model says the Jets should be a big favorite here. but not as big as the market is saying now. So while there was some value at minus 149 or minus 154, some of the earlier prices that were available, I don't think there's any value now, given how the Jets have been playing recently. There's not a lot separating these two teams. If we're just looking at their current form, of course, the Jets were a lot better for earlier parts of the season, and we can't just throw that out. But I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. I'm just very skeptical that the Kraken can keep it up. They've been really good. They've been lights out defensively lately, thanks to some stellar goaltending. But assuming Hellebuck in goal, I think the Jets have a big edge in the crease, and only the Blackhawks have scored fewer goals per 60 minutes than the Kraken in the last 30 days. So I think they've got a pretty big edge on offense as well. Winnipeg's owned this matchup. They've only lost one game all time in 7-6 meetings versus the Kraken, so 5-1 all time. But surprisingly, Connor Hellebuck has only played one of those games, a 3-0 shutout back in December of 2021. But nonetheless, the Jets have still managed to dominate the Kraken. I would assume that'll be the case if Hellebuck is in goal, but the price pretty much reflects that at this point. So I'm just going to stick with the Panthers for now at minus 118 to win a unit. I've got the over 5.5 on Monday in the Rangers and Panthers game. And maybe if anything else comes up overnight or into the morning on Tuesday, I will let you guys know tomorrow on the Puck Portfolio. Going to be talking to AP hockey writer Stephen Wino about the Washington Capitals, who should be pretty busy at the trade deadline. He'll also have some thoughts on the trade deadline as a whole across the league, because he does cover the NHL, although he does zoom in on the Capitals. So I'm sure Wino will have some insight to share with us on Tuesday's episode of the Puck Portfolio. But until then, I'll see you guys when I see you. Good luck with your bets on Monday. Take care.